Before the age of the twilight set upon the gods, a legend rose to claim his place among them. And even though Kratos sat on the throne as the new god of war, he was haunted by visions of his family. A family he himself murdered. But the hands of death could not defeat him. The Sisters of Fate could not control him. And on this day, the man, the legend, Kratos, will have his revenge.
Hello there all and welcome to Let's Play God of War 3 Chaos Difficulty. This is the Ultimate Edition, as you guys can tell. It doesn't have anything different in terms of gameplay, outside of a few costumes and extra challenge setting that is actually fairly hard. I think it has a couple of extra videos, like a documentary and some other video I can't remember. All I know is a documentary actually is a one-time use, and once you use it, you can't download it again, which blows, because as you guys know, I lost all my PS3 data, and that means I actually cannot view that documentary again. You can watch it on YouTube. It's called God of War Unearthing the Legend, and it's a pretty interesting watch. I highly recommend it to all viewers. Beyond that, there was also Pandora's Box that came with the physical thing. The soundtrack was actually DLC, which was claimed. It was advertised as being physical, which was annoying. And then there's a couple of other in-game DLC, like I think a costume or two. I'll show that off after this Let's Play, because some of the costumes, I think at least one of some of the videos, are actually spoilers for God of War 3 itself. As a whole, the game is pretty okay. Actually, beyond okay, it's pretty good. It's not nearly as hard as God of War 3, but it actually strikes a nice balance of difficulty. I never really want to throw my controller and smash it. There's some problems in terms of gameplay. I think maybe some story elements might annoy viewers, because at this point, I think Kurt's backstory kind of was starting to get a little screwy, to say the least. I'll explain as time goes on. So, let's begin. I want to point out one thing about difficulty. For those who aren't really interested in chaos, the very hard settings of this of the series, you should play on Titan regardless, the hard difficulty, because Titan actually will get you a trophy. No other difficulty does that except for just being in the game normally. I don't think you get anything extra for being on very hard. I don't know if you get extra videos or artwork or anything. I don't remember. But let's get this started.
My vengeance ends now. My brothers, we were forged in victory. A victory that ended the Great War and brought forth the reign of Mount Olympus. Born from the depths of the underworld, rooted in the River of Souls, our mountain emerged out of the chaos. As it grew, so too did the might of the Olympians. He created a world of peace, a world of prosperity, a world that lives in the shadow and safety of my mountain. A mountain that has come to be the absolute measure of strength and power. Now, on this day, that power is to be tested. The mortal Kratos seeks to destroy all that I have wrought. Brothers, put aside the petty grievances that have splintered us for so long. We will unite. We will stand together. And I will wipe out this plague. Olympus will prevail. Son has returned. I bring the destruction of Olympus! The Titans will fail again!
So, here we are right where God War 2 left off. Even got a re-recording of that line here at the end. Now here we actually have the Blades of Athena once again. And we don't have our Barbarian Hammer or anything else. We do have the Blade of Olympus, though, which is pretty nice. You know, same stats as always, so let's get into this. You saw that move I did there, that was actually the battering ram. One of the new hyped up features of this game, and it's very useful overall. It's a collision, and it works wonders. Yeah, the Titans need us still to help them out, despite the fact that we are pretty minuscule in comparison. Now, the battering ram, you were actually completely invincible, and you might be thinking after God of War 2's awesome collision system that I raved about the whole time, it's gonna be awesome. No, actually, it's kind of not. Basically, you grab an enemy and then you press square. If you press X, you can throw them. Triangle, just kill them outright. And circle, you can beat the shit out of them and get some extra orbs. But beyond that, you're noticing our moveset is exactly the same, which is pretty nice. We have Olympus, you'll see how we use it in a second, don't worry. Oh, Terror's Rings. I do this by Barbarian Hammer. We also have our Icarus Wings, too. And the moveset for that remains roughly the same. We have our Golden Fleece and this giant hippo champion. This is our first mini, our first boss. This is roughly the same as the Hydra and the Colossus of Rhodes, actually, along with the Bass, I think it was called in God of War Chains of Olympus. That magic attack I did was with the, I think, the Cyclone of Chaos. We used that R2. That was the Blade of Olympus. We don't get to use it as an actual weapon exactly. But anyway, for that, I always get hit by that. So. Now, for the first phase that I kind of glanced over, use your Blade of Olympus, the R2 magic, only to avoid that that attack. I think you block that, but I still like using the extra hits in. You're also noticing wall combat is fairly changed up overall. For this thing, all you can really do is just avoid the attack and attack it. And we're changing base again. Wall combat is again changed. It's pretty awesome. We can use magic though. There's no invincibility frames or anything we can use. You have the standard triangle combo here, and watch that. Wall combat now works roughly the same as ground combat, actually. It's pretty great, in my opinion. It's generally easier to get into, and it's actually a little more fun, in my opinion. Watch out for that. This thing does a pretty decent amount of damage, not a whole lot, but you need to watch out. Then, this is roughly the same as the first phase right here. Use your Spirit of Hercules, because Spirit of Hercules is always awesome. And then match again, just watch out for that. I don't think you can do that attack in the first phase. Whoa. Watch out for that. Actually, I'm not sure what this thing was called, but I know in development this thing was called the Leviathan. That's not its actual name. I don't know why they referred to it as that, but they did. First circle prompt. Why Poseidon has a horse, I don't understand. Because it's Helios who has horses. No, even Hercules technically has horses. Most of you who kept up with the with some of the earlier trailers and things probably remember that fight, and generally most of that previews. That was what the developers hyped up as the Titan gameplay. It was pretty awesome, let me tell you. When I first saw that when I was still in high school, I thought that was awesome, and playing a full game again, it's still pretty awesome. And I think that's Hades who took down a Titan because they're all fucking useless. I swear, the Spartans were better, not to give them disrespect. I mean, they're simple human warriors. These guys are giant beings made out of rock. And also, Gaia actually has a different voice actors. The opening narration for that video you saw at the beginning, for the main menu, that was Linda Hunt. Her new voice actor, I don't know why they changed it, which is kind of a shame. The calendar for Golden Fleece is also roughly the same too. And archers, but get rid of them as soon as you can. They're annoying annoyances. They really are. Countering feels a little slower, and when you actually hit the square for it, I don't know what it is. That's just me. Seriously, I don't know why the Titans are so unable to fight these gods. I mean, Kratos already killed 2 on his own. Granted, he had the actual power to kill a god, so I guess he gets some sort of justification. And for some reason, when you smash an enemy against the wall, you can do that over and over. It's kind of useless. It really kind of isn't. A lot of returning features from God of War 2 come over. There's not that many new ones, which was kind of a criticism of this game, but I think that's kind of a plus because this is the end of the original trilogy. So adding in too many changes might have turned off veterans. And I think it might have also possibly made it hard for newcomers to get into. I would say that this game, it's a lot simpler than God of War 2. But it is far more accessible. As I said, it is not that hard, but it is actually balanced. I still find it's pretty tricky at times with some of the fights, especially some of the latter half ones. But overall, there's some nice things. Now, you guys are going to remember that in the beginning, I mentioned that collisions are different in this game. They don't seem to do that much damage compared to what they did in God of War 2. Like, it wasn't really relevant or anything. It's hard to explain. I believe when Big B comments on this, he'll probably explain it to some of you guys. I can't really explain it either. It's hard to understand. It's hard to kind of go over, really. It's probably one of the bigger disappointments with gameplay in this game, collisions, in my opinion. Because, you know, if we had the battering ram plus the collision system of God of War 2, it would be very glorious, and it could kick ass of everything. Nothing would stand in its way, believe me. Oh, that's the same horse from before. And I didn't get a magic reflex, I actually just noticed that. It's also worth noting that outside of the gameplay, there are some other things not changed from God of War 2 and 1, actually. It's more cosmetic than anything. Like, we have a brand new engine and visuals, but as a whole, there's not that many differences. There's some good changes, but overall, it's the same. Here we have the Centaur. This was in the demo as well. It's a little different. For that quick time event, you just have to press a button. You didn't have to really do anything. You didn't have to like change your joystick, and you can just try square, triangle, plume combo it to death. It can't do anything. Of course, you can also use the battering ram against it, and hopefully that doesn't happen. And I was kind of bad, so that's why I did my magic. I kind of swore I was gonna get hit. You probably should watch out for that in this game, especially with the battering ram, because you are vulnerable for a few seconds. You're invincible doing the whole thing. But otherwise, you should probably watch out when you're coming out of it. And that's another thing. This game, God of War is, in my opinion, far more violent than the other ones. Like, you saw that thing's guts torn out. That's pretty graphic. I actually remember hearing a lot of people in videos saying that they were kind of disturbed. Which, they were just disturbed and like, whoa, that's pretty graphic. And I kind of see their point, actually, but I'm not going to complain. I mean, gore has been appealed this series, and I'm not going to complain. I'm not one of those twisted freaks, but we can't go back out there. It's worth noting that there is kind of a glitch with the Centaur. There's a trophy you're supposed to get with it, because you'll fight it a few more times, and I had to do a second playthrough in order to get it, actually. And here, Ares remains. Huh. He blew up at the end of the first game, like Athena. So, how were they able to retrieve his body if he blew up? I never understood that. I mean, then again, there is a few loopholes, so to say, in this game. It's also, again, still just odd that we don't have our Barbarian Hammer or Chronos Rage, anything. It made sense in God of War 2 because Zeus stole all of our magic and abilities. He left Kratos with little power left from his God of War abilities. I don't know. It is hard to make sense of this series sometimes, I'm not gonna lie.